We're going to talk about posture. Your posture is going to play a major role in your quality of life. Poor posture causes so many different aches and pains in the body, and it's one of the major limiters of progress while exercising. So we're going to address that today. So first off, we want to think about what is good posture. Pretty much good posture is when everything is lined up. Your head, shoulders, hips, straight line. There's so many different causes that can kind of pull you out of alignment, where some muscle groups will be tighter and the opposing muscle groups will be weaker. So you'll find yourself rounding, hunching over, kind of maybe whatever. But there's so many causes that we can't address them all in one video. So we're going to kind of break these down into specific syndromes and address them one at a time over the course of however long it takes me to do these. So in this video, we're going to specifically work on anterior pelvic tilt. So what an anterior pelvic tilt is, it's essentially when your hips kind of tilt like that, and you kind of have like this little Donald Duck booty thing going. I'm not a great artist, but imagine that's your head, it's your neck, let's call that your rib cage, it's your spine, triangle for your hips, and then your legs, knees, rest of your legs and feet. Let's just say that's the person right there. This part of you, your hips, tilt forward, so you end up butt sticking out there, end up with kind of a curvature, and you end up with kind of this S shape to your spine. That causes lower back pain. It can hurt your knees, your ankles. Everything's connected, right? Nothing works in isolation. So you see this a lot with people who lift heavy, who do a lot of running, and eventually they start to feel pains in their joints. So I'm going to show you 3 simple exercises to do that you don't necessarily need a trainer for. These are things you can do with maximum efficiency and minimum observation. And those 3 exercises are glute bridges, bodyweight squats, hip flexor stretches. Notice, they're all body weight. I don't really recommend that you hold anything heavy while doing these. If you're an avid exerciser and you're lifting for strength, or you're working out for power production, running, jumping, etc., really consider that your body's going to make those movements happen with whatever it has currently. So to fix those imbalances, you're probably going to want to slow down, implement some of these relatively boring, simple movements, and as it realigns, you get back to aiming stronger. Nobody would build a house on a fucked up foundation, right? So stop building your house on the fucked up foundation. Take the moment, step back, do the boring work to fix yourself up, and then start to progress again. If you're not an avid exerciser and you're sedentary, perfect. These are low impact. They will not hurt you, and you can greatly increase your quality of life if you have anterior pelvic tilt. So onto the demo. All right, we're starting with hip bridges here. So the entire point of hip bridges is that your feet are flat and you're really just squeezing your glutes to kind of bring your hips up. You don't want to use speed. You're not trying to bang these out fast. You want to come and bring yourself nice and flat. You don't really want to arch your back any. Just engage the glutes, squeeze it, lower slowly. It's not about speed, it's about control. All right, next up, you have your hip flexor stretch. So for your hip flexor stretch, you want to kind of make sure that your hips are pointing straight forward and that you're leaning into it just enough that you feel that pull on the inside of your thigh a little bit. As you're pushing in there, again, keeping those hips straight, you can see them squared off, and you just settle in, breathe deeply. Make sure that you feel this, not painfully, but challenging. As for bodyweight squats, so you can see here, nice and controlled. Don't care if your hands go up, if you bring them in front of you, but you want to make sure that your feet are pointing in the same direction that your knees are bending. You don't want torque there. You also want to make sure, as you can see here, that your knees don't track out over your toes. So you're kind of sinking straight down, your butt is going back. Your knees should not be out over your toes at any point. That's detrimental to what you're trying to do here. If you can't do a squat, if you're not used to it, feel free to do these. These are sit to stands. You start at a chair, stand up, come down under control. No momentum or very little momentum. Again, it's about control and feeling it. Super simple, right? That's it. So for glute bridges, recommend doing around 30 reps, resting, doing another 30, slow and controlled the entire time. Bodyweight squats, same deal. You're not trying to power through this. You want to be engaging the muscles. And the hip flexor stretch, about 1 minute per side. I would recommend doing this 3 times a week, minimally. If you're getting really sore doing it, you could do less reps. You could take a rest day in between, of course. But you really want to do it around 3 times a week. You want to stay on this. If you're not working out, this could be your full routine. If you are working out, this could be part of your warm-up. It's not exciting. It's boring. You're not going to be posting this to Instagram like, look at the fucking hip flexor stretch. But you know what? Part of it is getting the job done and doing it correctly. So who gives a shit? Do it anyway.